What's up, folks? It is C3 Podcast coming at you, episode number 3, month of January 2015. How we all doing this evening? We are joined tonight by some special guests.
Girls!
We have ladies in here. We have ladies. Why don't you introduce yourselves?
My name is Nicci. And I'm Haley.
Right on. And they're here today, along with...
Turnus.
Kyle.
The prettiest face in podcast, Josh.
Oh.
Sorry, girls.
If I grew a beard, would I be prettier?
It's up for debate.
Depends on what kind of beard.
Yeah.
If you're watching this podcast right now, leave a comment if you think her face would be prettier.
Please do.
Do you want to be a beard? Like a front for me and Turnus?
Hey, I did do a beard photo on my Facebook. Did you guys see that? It was pretty sweet.
She's the new Kathy Bates.
Nice.
I was at Walmart last night. They have a Build-A-Beard toy you can buy.
Shut
That's
up.
amazing, yeah.
Beards are pretty awesome.
Is it Duck Dynasty?
No,
Merchandising.
unfortunately.
Build a beard.
Because they
God,
were
that's so cool.
selling Duck Dynasty beards for a while. I thought about buying one, but it's not the beard on the outside that counts. It's the beard on the inside.
It's my inner beard.
Yeah, that's my motto.
Right now.
That's my motto anyway, because I
Wow.
can't grow one. So
Kyle, can you grow a beard?
Yeah, I can't grow a mustache though. Like I could fill like this whole thing out. That was funny because I was working.
Let it go.
But if I want to, like when I let it go, like the whole face grows in, like except the mustache, which is messed up because my dad's a cop and he has like this glorious
he does.
mustache. Like
is it like a
huge.
Farva mustache?
Oh yeah, yeah.
The
Like
mustache ride mustache?
I'm pretty sure he got his job based on mustache alone. He was like filling out paperwork and like, we don't need to see that.
Just the mustache.
Your
You're
mustache.
good. You're in.
You clearly belong here. So, but anyway, so I was working at Best Buy and like this is all coming in, so you could see that I like had facial hair, but you couldn't see like a mustache. So everybody was giving me crap about it. So I was like, you know what? I think it's there. It's just not dark. So I go to Walmart to buy some hair dye.
Oh, no, you didn't.
And of course I went for the one with the African guy with the afro on it. And then like, so I got like the box apart and everything, and then like I'm reading through it, and it's like for permanent hair coloring and everything else, and I was like, I stopped because I was like, Andy, I don't think this is. Well, it was my roommate Andy. I was like, I don't think this is for some guy who just wants to casually have black hair every now and then.
You
my
need
gosh.
Sharpies for that. Man.
This is like an old player that's still got to be on his game. Like,
Did you put it on? Or
no,
like,
no, I didn't.
Oh, that would have been
Well,
funny.
it's like, it made it sound like if you even got it like remotely on your skin, like you were like it would dye your skin. So I'd like have a black bar, like, mustache, and it just like I could have
I'm
lit.
just trying to imagine.
I
this
could have
right
just
now.
literally just taken a Sharpie
Yes.
and then just done that.
Oh, that's
Good
great.
lord.
The magic of podcasts right now.
We would
it's
have to
all
come up
yours.
with some like Photoshop picture, like what,
Yeah.
what they could have looked like.
What color? Like when it comes in, what color is your beard? I'm still trying to picture it.
Is it blonde?
Because right now I picture black, and I'm like, I just see Amish Kyle, but
What?
obviously that's probably not the case.
Amish Kyle.
No, it's even probably a little bit dirtier blonde.
Like ashy.
Like,
So kind of like
Yeah.
mine, where it's like it's there, but you can't see it.
Like a
you
red.
know?
well, we can.
Would that be
see
funny if
yours.
it was just total ginger beard? Like just
Oh,
random,
that's
like just
hilarious.
redness. That'd be so
Yeah.
funny.
But anyway,
like my
thanks
back
for
hair?
thanks for tuning into the C3
Yeah.
comic show, where
true.
we talk about beards. What's the greatest beard in comics? Who has the greatest
That's a good one.
Afro or no?
Thor.
Thor's is good.
Thor's
Thor.
hot.
Black Dynamite. He has a
Yeah.
Black
he has a
Dynamite.
beard,
I like
and
his
he has a
hammer.
comic.
I'm gonna go Kingdom Come Superman on that, or Aquaman.
Aquaman's looking pretty good.
Aquaman's
Aquaman.
Action Comics Superman right now has the
Oh yeah, that's right.
gave it all up beard, which is pretty entertaining.
Do you think superheroes follow No Shave November? Do you think their suits get itchy if they don't shave?
Do you think they actually like donate money to
It's a
the
lot.
cause?
Where did they
you know,
whoa.
Bruce owns the cause.
Yeah.
So it's all- but I'd love to see that would be a fun episode, like Bruce Wayne forgets to shave.
Yeah.
Like goes to like a Halloween party with like a handlebar mustache, dressed up as a cop, and then shows up as Batman later that night. And like, oh, wait, hold on.
Wait a
Like,
second.
give me a minute here. And,
Or that's how he throws everybody off.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne always has stubble and Superman's always shaved.
yeah, it is.
Like, how could I possibly be the same person with a smooth face?
That's hilarious.
I'm trying to think of who else right now. I mean, 'cause,
Does
like,
anyone
for,
have like a
Thor,
power to grow hair? I mean,
I'm sure
A
one of the X-Men,
superpower?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
There's like 80 bajillion X-Men, so...
It's called puberty, Josh.
I have a superpower to grow hair. I'm just gonna grow a bush right now. There it is.
This is the jungle room.
Oh my god.
I just grew nipple hair.
Nikki just talked about her bush and her nipple hair
Oh my
in
God.
the jungle room.
Yes.
We're not even 5 minutes into the
Epic.
podcast. This is gonna be a
Epic.
And
good
that's
one.
why you guys brought me on.
That's right.
Yeah.
But yes,
Just gotta keep
yes.
it real.
Well, yeah, and,
So-
and speaking of keeping it real, I think I think the intent.
I
this
think,
going?
I think we want to keep it natural.
Really?
You make me feel like a natural woman, Kyle. That's why I'm bringing it out.
Well, let's try
Yeah.
another after
All
that
right.
failed segue. So where are we going with this? Keeping it real, keeping
So-
it classy.
Well, we brought you two here.
Oh god.
Well, number one was to talk about bush hair, clearly, and I'm
Now that
glad
we've
you
accomplished that,
I'm glad you brought it up because we would have felt dirty bringing it up. But we wanted the female perspective
Okay.
on the comic world.
Mm-hmm.
So, and clearly I don't think either of you guys are really into comics that much, are you?
No. Mm-mm.
No. Okay. What do you like / not like about it? Like, what... Or do you guys read a lot? Like, are you into books or...
Mm-hmm. I mean, I read a lot. I watch a
Yeah,
lot of movies.
what stops you? Where's the disconnection? Is what I'm saying.
I guess
like,
I'm not
where-
really around it that much. You know what I mean? So it's not like I go out of my way to go and find like a comic book. When I was a kid, I read like Archie and Veronica, you know?
Mhm.
And then like as an adult, I've been like, you know, like the Marvel comics, like the movies and all that stuff. So I mean, those are cool. I'm more of a visual like action type of person. So if I have to sit there and like look at pictures as an adult, I'm just like, well, I'm not sure if I really like it. The print's all tiny and you know, so but that's kind of about it.
I used to
Yeah.
read the Scooby-Doo ones when I was a kid. All the time
Right on.
I'd get so excited to go to the gas station and they had the Dexter's Laboratory.
Yes.
I had a couple
Yes.
issues.
Yes.
And then, you know, the Spider-Man and Superman, but I don't know what happened. I just let go of myself.
Well, even now with the movies and everything, is there a character that you feel speaks to you, or is even like that you look like, and you're like obviously we look like Batman, and you're like, there's not a boy alive that can't get into Batman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, do you see
Well,
any
the one
like
that has-
Wonder Woman or anything like
No,
that? Or?
I mean, like, the one that stuck out to me the most, like, ever since I was a kid that I could remember was Thor, honestly. I mean, I watched Adventures in Babysitting, and so the girl on there, like, really liked Thor,
That's
and
awesome.
she was really into him, and he was, like, a hero, and just, like, always did good by people, and so that's kind of the one that stuck out to me the most. So when that movie came out, I was like, I love Thor. It was awesome. So,
And
and
then-
he's good looking.
yeah, and then that movie came along, and
Yeah.
wow.
And,
There you go.
So,
hi.
You know,
now you're an
Yeah,
adult.
real quick,
Now you're an adult and you get to enjoy Thor.
maybe
Yeah.
taking a slight aside, then how do you feel about Thor being a woman now or sooner? Has that happened yet?
Is he-
that
Okay.
is going on
You know,
right now.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
totally okay
And
with my
it's a different
sexuality,
it's a
so-
different person that's
It's
on
all
it.
good.
It's not like, it wasn't like gender reassignment or like
No.
Thor's like Avengers, I have a secret.
Identity
Getting a
crisis.
sex
Yeah.
change.
That's identity crisis. Crisis on Infinity Identities.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That
So
was
Thor,
good.
what is this? Thor's gonna be.
Thor's he lost his hammer,
Yep.
and then a gal.
I'm done. He lost his hammer. So no.
Yeah,
The hammer is his penis.
yeah. And essentially, yeah, you know, gal picked it up. We still don't really know who the
Yeah.
lady is.
Yeah.
So like a lady Thor? Does she have like a name? Like
Not yet. She took on the title of Thor, and
Really?
then that's her that in the whole
Is
industry.
she muscly? Have you seen pictures
She's
yet?
huge. She's your typical like 6'7" Scandinavian,
Typical
you know,
woman.
typical barbarian style woman. Like she's a Xena, blonde
Oh my
Xena.
god.
Well-
a blonde Xena?
That chick from Game of
Well-
Thrones. What's her name?
Bree.
Brie.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, her. That she'd like be a prime example
I don't know who that
of.
is.
Wow. Well, kind of in the comics too. Like, the movie kind of misrepresents Thor because in the comics, it's whoever is worthy. Well, I think they say it in the movie.
say it, yeah.
Whoever is worthy shall hold the
the
hammer of
hammer.
Thor, and that's
Right.
the whole thing is that he can lose that at any time. And
Right.
did they ever retcon? Like, it used to be like he was dual identity, like
They tried to give him
like you know Bruce Banner, or like the Hulk. You know,
Oh yeah,
he's-
she's hot. She's like She-Ra. She
Yeah.
looks like, dude, I love She-Ra.
but you know,
I'm
like
down with the chicks.
the Hulk used to,
Not
you know,
good.
be a regular guy. Then he got angry and he was the Hulk. It
Right.
was the same thing. He was just a regular guy walking around. They grabbed the
Doctor.
hammer, doctor,
Whatever fuck his name was.
something.
lab coat.
God,
Dr.
there goes
Lab coat.
there goes my nerd card.
You know,
But he put the hammer and then he turned into the hero.
Right.
And that's essentially what happened with her. Is that you know
She picked it
some
up.
6'7" Scandinavian woman was walking around.
I think he
And
dropped
Picked
it.
up
At,
the hammer.
I think he dropped his hammer at Walmart. I picked it up, but nothing really happened. So must have been a different hammer. or
How
something.
high were you at the time when you thought it was Thor's
You
hammer?
remember that time I went to Walmart with the Power Rangers cake?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
What?
Might have been that time.
Josh was apparently very drunk one night and was yelling at the managers because they wouldn't bring him a Power Ranger cake that was in their what was it in their book?
It wasn't even in the book. I just really wanted a Power Rangers cake.
And you know, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, like,
I don't see anything wrong
You
with
got
it.
kicked out of the store for that, right?
Well, I was asked to leave, so interpret it how you will.
Uncool.
The exact quote was this isn't the 90s anymore. We don't have any Power Rangers cakes. It's not your birthday, and you need to leave my store. So,
Did they have any like My Little Pony cakes?
I was not interested in those. Still am not, for the record.
You're not a brony?
But
brony.
I didn't look at the cakes. I went over, I saw the cake, and I was like, a Power Rangers cake would be really awesome right now. And this is like, there's nobody behind the counter, so I had to actively seek out somebody and
Give me your
drag
cake.
them over. Yeah, it was an ordeal. But in any case, it might have been on that trip. I don't know. I didn't turn into Thor though.
That you
Or
know
did
of.
That I know of. That's true.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
why they kicked you out.
you were
Some
just
dude in a
too,
cape and a helmet stumbling around.
That's gonna be that third movie.
Yeah. Ragnarok.
Drunk
Thor
Thor.
looking for a Power Rangers cake in Walmart.
Oh man, that's pretty funny.
Natalie Portman, where are you? I can't remember your character name. We have to get the Power Ranger cake from my dad. It's his birthday. Loki won't go in halvesy.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Then he's
Oh
like,
my god.
I can see him like drunk, like looking at mittens and like, well, Dad likes mittens.
Or like some sweet handle for the hammer.
Yep.
Like a crocheted one.
By the hammer of Thor gift cards.
Yes.
He comes across the Duck Dynasty beards.
Marvel, you're welcome.
Oh yeah,
That's
stop
pretty
with
good.
this Howard the Duck bullshit. We want Thor drunk in Walmart.
Howard the Duck. Oh, man.
He's at the self-checkout. What sorcery is this? No associate needed.
There's no goddamn item in my baggage area. It's my goddamn hammer.
This takes cash only. That's it.
I brought this hammer with me. What do you mean?
They made me pay for it. What is happening right now?
I hope everybody out there is laughing as hard as we are, because that's going to be really awkward otherwise.
They've already turned it off, but
They're like done at the bush.
Well, if you're still here, let's get on to another question.
Yes. So,
Okay.
So you gals, as non-comic book readers, these days, when you hear about like the lack of female fronts or female leads, whether it be in the movies or in the books, like what are your thoughts on that? I mean, because that, like we were talking before, I mean, it's like these days, the sexism aspect and the feminist aspect of it seem to be taking a bigger spotlight in the more recent months. And do you think that's something that influences you as women, or do you just kind of ignore it? Like when you hear, whether it be sports or other industries where it's like, oh, the comic book industry, and it's just like they always discriminate against women and they set unrealistic expectations and things like that. Do you think that actually has something to do with it, or do you think it's something that you'd have to read yourself and determine, or draw your own opinion based on?
Well, I've never really heard of like there's.
Before you speak, you are speaking for all women. This is not your opinion as an individual.
I'm
I just
not
want you to know
speaking for all women.
Everybody on the
I
internet
do not
thinks
say
you are
this
speaking for all women.
on behalf of all women. I do not. I repeat. But for me, like personally, I really haven't heard of any complaints about like women not playing lead roles in comic book type of stories or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there is a rise of women taking those lead roles in action-packed type of movies. I mean, if you look at like Hunger Games or like that other one with the chick, Divergent, and I couldn't think of the word. But those are really cool roles that women are kind of rising up and like kicking ass and taking names, you know what I mean? And so I think that as movies evolve and comic books evolve and people are evolving, that like the feminist movement could be rising as well. So it's possible that women could be taking more authoritative and bigger roles in comic book movies.
I can speak on behalf of lesbians. I would much rather read about some hot chick tearing shit up than a guy.
Yeah.
There you go. But
Me too.
Well, yeah.
I was just saying it for you.
Yeah, and I think that does segue. So,
Right.
like in comics over the years, one thing it's like how they've always, with the exception of like your Superman wedding and Spider-Man wedding, they've always tried to kind of remain neutral on a lot of the characters. These days, in the last, I'd say within the last 2 years, where now that we're seeing where it's like where they bring up sex of characters and they bring up like, oh, so and so, it's like, oh, this character is now gay, or like Batwoman. Batwoman is a prime example that they rewrote New 52 style and made her a lesbian, and
Might have to read that one.
and it was a solid book, but then it was a huge deal because a lot of voices were raised because they're like, well, she's an icon. It's like Batwoman's been around, and essentially the authors stepped up and said, and this doesn't change
Who she
Batwoman.
was
She's
at
still
all. Yeah.
Batwoman.
Yeah.
And it's like here, it's like she has a girlfriend that she's protecting. How is that any different than any other superhero?
Well, and the big thing with her too, if I remember, was that the writers were planning on marrying her and her partner.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yep.
And
That's cool.
DC stepped in and said no, because they didn't want to marry anybody. That was their stance. Their stance was, well, they basically
no marriage in
rebooted all their
comics anymore.
they rebooted all their books in 2011 so that people could jump back on, so that they could say, like they used to be like Batman issue 700, so you walked in the store, you're like, well, I've got, there's a ton of stuff before this, so there's going to be a bunch of stuff I don't understand. So they rebooted everything. And that was their big thing, was that they were going to marry, they were going to, marry. And then they kind of stepped up and said, no, we're going to not letting any of our characters marry, straight or gay or anything like that. And actually, the creators left the book over it.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's too bad.
Do you remember the whole debacle that came out with the Spider Girl issue or the Spider Woman?
Yes.
Oh,
When they had that cover, that was absolutely ridiculous in my book. Basically, Go ahead, all your turns.
I was just gonna say, I've already spoken my opinion about this cover several times over. Yes, it was sexist, and it's terrible. But more than anything, it was a bad drawing. Her face was all disproportionate.
It was a bad
just was a
drawing.
crappy drawing altogether.
We're queuing it up here for the
I was
gals,
more raged about that than the sexism aspect. The fact that she had like a broken back in 4 different places or whatever. But it's just like,
Oh my gosh.
So we'll
Yeah,
find
it
out.
was
Just-
really dumb, but the
Oh my
internet
gosh.
basically exploded over this.
Yeah.
She
And
got
that
Kim
was
Kardashian's ass.
yes.
And
Well,
then
that was
So- wow.
Is it Milo Manera
There's not really any detail on her
was it-
face.
was the artist, and he's a
Yeah.
long time. He is known. He's a huge female illustrator, and
So what was the point behind it?
It was so they relaunched Spider Woman as her. That was on issue number 1, and the big deal. It's like they hired this guy Milo, who's that he makes his career. That's what he draws. He does like illustrations for Playboy and all the. He does women illustration, and it's like, and that's the cover he gave him for Spider Woman, and everybody just lost their shit because it's like, what, we don't need Spider Woman. She's not supposed to be the sexy, counterpoint, or counterpart.
Right.
She's supposed to be, the new lead female character, and that's what he gave him. And I mean, sold quite a few copies just because of that artwork, because
Really?
of him as. But I think it went both ways. People were buying it because
Well, sex sells too, though. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you think about
And,
it.
and that's one
No.
thing, it's a double standard I've
Right.
never really understood. Is like,
Right.
obviously women are a sex symbol in comics. If you look, there's tons of smut ones. There's, the whole
Right.
anime thing. I'm not really into that, but it's pretty obvious. They're all big boobed, and obviously it's an unrealistic expectation. But also for guys, I mean, we're not fucking Superman.
Nightwing.
We're not gonna look like Nightwing or
Right.
It
Right.
it goes both ways. The guys are sex symbols too. Well, there was a January variant of the Justice League as a Magic Mike cover.
Yes.
Oh,
so
no way.
so
That
where's
would've been
That's
the
coming in March.
so feminists? Where's our half of it? Come at me.
Come at me, bro.
You don't want that.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to avoid.
I'm just saying. If you're gonna complain about a Spider Woman cover or a cover
So there
with
was
a
feminists that were like complaining
Like,
about
they
this
they
cover.
wanted this
it was
book.
it was too.
They wanted
too,
this.
But that doesn't make sense though, especially like when they're like oogling over like men comic book characters like in the movies, with like the definition of their
The
nipples
eight
in the
pack
in
abs and
costumes
freaking-
and yeah.
Well, and that's where like Josh was saying, it's like, and we're
Like where do you draw the line?
Yeah, in this industry right now, and we are seeing a very vocal, backlash right now, where it's like, there's certain like the female writers that are taking on, female books and.
Batman.
You want to read that book now, don't you?
This is so funny.
So those will be out in March. Yeah,
That is really
That's a
funny.
movie?
Who's
That's
on the
good.
far left over here?
it's just a comic.
Far left is Aquaman.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Really?
We were talking about that guy that nobody wants to be his nobody wants to be his
He
sidekick.
doesn't even have like a sign on him or anything.
Nope.
He has like
He's just
nothing. He's just
Aquaman.
plain. He's just some random dude in the street.
He's just
He's just some
Just
guy.
like, can you like Photoshop him out of
some
there?
That'll be a different variant.
Just
Yeah.
kidding.
But yeah, in any case, I mean, that's just the whole thing is sex sells.
So this is starting to become like a huge kind of big deal right now.
Right
in the
now,
comic book
and that's what
industry.
that's what we're finding, and obviously, if any fellow retailers are listening, I would love to hear feedback from listeners on how it is in local shops, because like here, we don't have available to us. I can think of offhand maybe a dozen or so like female-led books where that's your main protagonist, and
your shirt right now is speaking volumes to me, because
Right.
Harley Quinn is a perfect example of that.
Harley Quinn right now is she's probably the number one female, top selling character. It's like Supergirl's nowhere to be found anymore. Batwoman, Batgirl. They're trying to get Batgirl relevant again, but then they rebooted her as like this 17-year-old, cell phone,
Really?
selfie junkie girl.
Yeah.
Let me take a selfie.
Really, just like industrializing it.
They turned her
Like-
into, and it's like, and it was a cool character. They brought on the new, she was finally growing up in the comics, and then they retconned her back
Step
to
back in
like,
time.
oh nope, she's
So has there been like a
16.
huge evolution in comic book like history, like in like making it like modern today?
that's over the last like 5-6 years. They've
Really
brought
just
it,
changing
like,
what characters look like, how they act, and adding like crazy characteristics and personalities
Well,
and stuff.
one of the guys we just interviewed for the Red Lion, Jordan, he said that one of the things that he noticed when starting to write his comic book was not really, not when you're writing it, when you write a novel, you're like fancy English literature, but when you're writing comics, you really have to write how people actually talk and act, because it's more of an illustrated aspect than it is while you're reading a book. So to capture that, you really have to, be in with the slang, be in with what trends and stuff, so you can portray the illustration accurately.
But yeah, the books reflect society, and is that if you look back at comic history, like you can look at books from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, art style, everything looks a lot the same. 60s and 70s, it reflects the time, a little bit more detailed, different art, get kind of psychedelic a little bit. 80s and 90s, once again, very much so the same. But even like Mike said, the last 5 years, everything has been reinvented, and that was the big story today. Actually, was that Marvel is rebooting their whole universe.
Wow.
Like they're restarting everything again, which they want to obviously attract the new reader, so that somebody says, "Oh, well, I can jump on now."
Yeah, because we've got a whole new generation coming up, so they have to make it more catchy for that generation to grasp onto what they're trying to sell.
Especially with all the dominating the movies. I mean, if you look at box office movies and the hottest TV shows right now, it's comic books.
Yep.
It's your Guardians of the Galaxy, your Avengers,
Star-Lord.
your Arrow,
Star-Lord.
your Flash. Those are dominating.
Yeah.
Comics are becoming mainstream. What was
They
considered
are.
nerd culture is now popular culture, and you're lame if you don't like it.
$1 industry.
Which is weird, but
I kept
whatever.
hearing about like Guardians of the Galaxy, and I so finally I went, and I wasn't sure what to expect or whatever, but seriously, it just blew my mind. I thought it was amazing. I loved it. I would definitely watch it again.
Yeah.
And again.
Would that lead you to buy the comics?
Yeah.
Would it?
Yeah.
Like as a
Where the hell have you been?
Here's the thing, though.
All right, let's phrase it differently.
Yeah.
All right,
I suppose we could start showing up a little more.
But here's the thing, though, that we need to address is, okay, so yeah, you say that it's going to get you to read the comics, but, so you come into the shop, you say you want Guardians of the Galaxy, and all Mike has, let's say, it's like the old Guardians of the Galaxy from the 70s, which was completely different characters. Are you still interested or no?
I think I'd probably look through it.
Yeah?
Yeah,
At
just to
least
see the
flip through it,
difference. Just to see
check
what
it.
it's about.
And I think that's.
I mean, I've honestly wanted to come here anyway. I've just never made it down here. I
Right.
didn't even know we were going to be here tonight. Like, I didn't know the address of this
Surprise.
place. So, he's just like, I'm like, what address am I supposed to be at? And so he gave me the address, didn't say where it was, and we just show up. I'm like, yeah, that's where it is.
We're in the super secret
Yeah.
C3
Just so everyone knows
studio.
that. Everyone knows that's my MO. I'll give you an address, but I won't tell you where I am.
Yeah.
I kept getting messages like, make sure your cell phone's turned off.
Wear black.
Yeah.
Knock
Don't
3
tell-
times, but not 4.
Don't tell anyone where you're going.
The password is Star-Lord.
That's right. Damn it, we're gonna have to change it.
Sorry, I blew your cover.
But the biggest thing I think with the movies and the shows coming out is if they're doing a reboot. So regardless if it gets you into reading the comics or not, the first time you walk into a comic shop and you're not, you don't know what to expect, boom, you walk in, racks full of comics. Where do you start? You're going to start with the movie you just saw, or the TV show that you saw, or a familiar name. So that's where, they need a good starting on point for Marvel, DC, whatever. And that's,
Well, here's the big thing. What would you guys want from a comic? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they said, okay, we're going to start writing something that's geared towards you. What would you like to see?
Geared towards me?
Yes.
I don't know. I guess I never really thought about it. I mean, I'm kind of like the nerdy adventurous type, where I just need some adventure. I need some comedy, obviously, and I don't know, just a good storyline.
Larfleeze?
Something
Larfleeze,
unexpected.
yeah. Larfleeze. That's what I was just thinking.
What is it?
jeez.
No, that's a bad joke.
Awful.
Awful book.
Deadpool. That's
Yeah,
what it's
that kept Ryan.
I would like
But,
something with more of a storyline than I mean, I don't mind action, and action would be I would like that to be a part of it, but more of like more in depth with characters. I don't know how it is now because I haven't touched a comic book since I was younger. So
So you like something a bit more like cerebral?
sure.
Oh,
We can make some. We'll look over the rack before you leave.
yeah.
We'll send you home with some good stuff.
It's like
You,
heroin.
at least one issue of Sex Criminals.
Mm-hmm.
We're like
If the
not
title
even,
alone doesn't entice
I mean,
you.
Sex
like,
criminals.
honestly,
It's a
not
big
even
book.
like all jokes aside, it's been one of my picks. It's seriously one of the best stories that I've read, and
Yeah.
I highly recommend it to anyone out. You know, put your immaturity aside. This book is amazing.
I will back Josh up on that 110%.
First of all, I will never put my immaturity aside. Second, I just remember when Josh was telling us about that book, I just had this idea of him like in the shop telling everyone like, "Hey guys, you got to read this book. It's about two people having sex." Like, get away from us. No, you see, what happens
And then
is
he's like, I'll back Josh up anytime.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
You
man.
gotta have that backup.
That's I don't know what just happened here, guys.
That's what happens.
Magic
It's the
happens.
cat shirt. It really just.
Like I said, prettiest face, best t-shirts in the podcast industry. I know how to work it.
now you got monikers.
Yeah. Step up your game, other podcasters. Get on my level.
Did you
won't
say
be
mother
my face.
podcast?
I don't know what I said.
Stop your game, mother podcasters.
That's how you gotta have a gimmick though.
My
That's-
gimmick is amazing shirts and my awesome face on
That's a
podcasts.
terrible gimmick in the podcast
No.
industry. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
Hey,
I
get your own
you, but,
gimmick.
Like, my gimmick
At least
is
I
just
have one.
being awesome.
It's the hair.
I'm just better than everybody else.
Yeah, you have the best hair of any podcast. Like, I gotta give it to you, you know? There's not a podcast out there that has better hair.
It's amazing.
I don't know, mine's pretty glorious.
Well,
It
It
is.
is.
That's,
We're sorry
And as
none
a
of you
breeze
can see
comes
this,
through the
but-
bathroom, my
I
hair.
mean, I'm just, all I'm saying is if there was a podcast Grammy Award, or whatever the hell it would be called, I think me and Turnus would win for our
Okay.
respective
And
categories.
the award
Air
goes
five.
to
Air 5.
Kyle.
That's right.
RKO out of nowhere.
most clean shaven.
I haven't shaved for like 2 weeks, guys. This is all stubble.
Oh, this is like 3 months into shaving.
Really? Wow.
Wow,
I
so
s-
blonde.
I suck at growing hair. I wish I could do it.
Now, did both balls drop? Or?
Yeah. One's still waiting. I had to jiggle around every now and then.
You gotta kind of work on that other one.
How far are you through puberty?
What's going on over there?
I don't know, man.
He's all like, oh.
I play with my
It's
hair.
like an
when I'm
Herbal
bored,
Essence
because
commercial
it's
over
fucking-
here.
Have you felt my hair?
Ah,
It's amazing.
no, I haven't. Should I?
If you would like to, I'm not gonna say don't.
What do you put in it?
Grease.
Yeah.
You know what his
Straight
secret
up
is. You know,
Burger King.
I know what his.
Yeah.
Put it in my hair now.
You gotta get it
Our
when you
hair is
get it, you
one
know?
They're from
now.
B-dubs. That's why we're
Yeah.
hanging out at B-dubs all the time.
Always going to B-dubs. My hair is done with spicy garlic tonight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give out Turnus' secret. I apologize, Turnus, but I do know your secret. So if you read the back of shampoo bottles, it says to put a quarter size in your hand, rinse, lather, and repeat. Well, Turnus' secret is he doesn't repeat,
That's true.
and that's
I'm
how
a,
it happens.
I'm a one and done kind
One
of
and
guy.
done.
That's right.
So that's the secret to Turnus' hair.
That's the way to do it.
One
Greatest
and
hair in
done.
podcast.
It's
I'm
beautiful.
the ad hat, leave home, demographic. Like,
Just wear a hat. Yeah.
it's like, yeah, girlfriend has to remind me. Notes in the shot in the bathroom mirror. Like,
Put your hat on, kid.
wash your hair. It's like shampoo. Like,
That's
one of
funny.
these days.
It is a little bit off-putting when you take it off.
Do you have hair?
Well, a lot of hair.
I would
It's-
disagree. I like.
like-
Oh
when you
yeah!
don't-
Wow,
like,
I did not
yeah.
expect that.
That's a glorious head of
Yeah,
hair.
and yeah.
Like,
It's
Is that your
just
natural hair
looking
color?
different.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame that you
Wow.
don't put a hat over that.
Oh,
You're
so
like
what do you do?
Silver Fox.
Yeah, that's
I need to make an awesome
Yeah.
greaser. in my
It
Well,
shouldn't
we're
be.
trying
Yes.
to,
It shouldn't be Juke Joint Comics. It should be Silver Fox Comics.
that's right.
Yeah.
So,
Mike, I'm gonna get you some grease and a switchblade. Want to go on the
yeah,
Yes.
get the pompadour going.
That's
Yeah.
very
It's gonna be
nice. I
incredible.
like it.
We'll walk around,
Yeah, we'll-
snapping at things,
We'll figure it out.
Have
So,
Yeah.
having dance battles with other people.
Yeah.
Some like
things.
leather jackets.
Yeah.
we-
I'll get a Sharpie and make myself
Have
a
a comb in your
mustache.
back pocket.
Hey, if you guys, I'll dance battle you guys.
Yes,
So
I love it.
If you guys, if you guys need your first dance battle opponent, you got it.
skinny
Jets and
pants.
Sharks.
So
2015.
I mean, well, this is a nonsensical
This has gone off
podcast.
the rails like at least
So,
8 times by now.
Since I told my Power Ranger story, I might as well tell my dancing story.
Let's hear it.
Please do.
So back when I was like, I don't know, 15 or 16. So this is like 8 years ago or so. Me and my best friend Jack, we took our girlfriends at the time to see Step Up 2. Because, you know,
wait.
The streets.
Step up
I got
to.
Step Up 2, The Streets.
the
The
streets.
streets. Yeah.
And we're like, whatever, it's a girl thing.
Highly underlooked.
And so we get to this movie, we get our popcorn, and the movie starts rolling. And, like, the girls start, like, texting. But me and Jack are, like, into this. This is the greatest
God.
fucking movie ever. And I'm, like, eating this up. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome.
Really wanting to dance.
So, like, the movie gets out, and we look at each other, and we're like, we didn't even have to sit to speak. We go and we grab this huge cardboard box, and we go to a parking lot, and we set it up, and we're like, dude, we're gonna be breakdancers. Like, this is gonna happen.
Oh my god.
So, with my newfound confidence within
No.
seeing these moves done,
This
I
48
What?
minutes.
Did you
Step
break
up to.
something?
I take a running start
Oh, no.
and on this cardboard.
What move were you trying to do?
I was
Yeah.
trying to do this like handspan spinneroo thing. I was like, it's kind of like a somersault,
Have-
but like
having
you like
never done this.
Never
yeah,
did.
I've never done it
We're
before.
going straight to the most experienced move.
You know.
Oh my god.
So I take this running start and I like put my hands out. Well, like they don't show in the movie that you have to like tape this box down.
Oh,
So as soon as my
God.
hands hit this cardboard box,
Slide.
it slides. So I just eat gravel, and there's my breakdancing career
That was great.
up in smoke. But like they don't show that in the movie. They're like I was mimicking the movie. Had
You
the
should
cardboard been a movie cardboard, it might have worked. That's all I'm
Didn't stick
saying.
around for like
And
a
see,
for real.
this is where I get Josh. He's right, because there I was, full-fledged batsuit, that car,
I get to see you. Cape
Willing-
flowing in the wind.
willing to fight crime, and I get arrested.
Did you really?
No.
Well, no. Do you guys see
She's
one of the
not
guys
just
in
to do.
Washington that dress up like superheroes
Oh, yeah,
and they
that's-
try to like assist the
Yeah.
cops?
Whatever his name is.
I hope you didn't think you were walking into that. Like, were you like, Nikki, like what level are these guys? Like, are you gonna like shove them like, girls?
We all sit around and awkwardly like
Yeah, you guys
Breathe
can't see
heavily.
all the fidgeting going on.
What we
Have you
should
ever
have
had
done?
girls back here before?
You're the-
No.
you gals are. This is the first.
It's an honor.
Alive.
Screw you, man! I got a hammer.
I got a hammer. They didn't pay for it.
Hey, all I gotta say is don't lose your hammer. We don't need a girl Kyle.
For the right price. No, what we should have done was we should have set up like 2 seats over there, like with a mic, and then like had an area way over there for us with a mic.
You were sitting at the girl table.
And then like it'd be like dead sounds for 5 minutes, and then
Just eyeballing each other, and then just start giggling.
how come girls don't like me?
Because you're sweating all over the place, damn it!
I can't help
Breathe!
it. I can't
I
help
got a puffer. Give this guy a puffer.
it. Was that what you were envisioning?
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what to expect. I was like, I'm just going to see Kyle.
That's right.
That's right.
You
And
just
we're
said
like,
it'd be fun.
Yeah,
Well, is it fun? I mean, was he wrong?
it was a good time. I'll come back.
That's what I like to hear.
For sure.
Repeat customers.
Well, before we lose you, gal. So yes, thank you for joining us, and hopefully you'll do it again. Next time we'll actually have like notes and.
Yeah.
No,
There-
this was fun.
You know,
Next
there
time we've never
usually
done
is
that.
a
format?
a format of sorts, but
No.
we
Barely.
haven't determined
This
that
is
yet. This is
episode
only
3,
episode
so-
3. So
Hey, episode 3 is the best one ever.
that's right.
It is.
So
well, I feel like kind of like with podcasts, it seems like you only like start to get to a schedule once you start running out of things that like stories.
Yeah.
Like once Josh, which I don't think we'll ever have a format because everything we talk about, Josh is like, "Oh, I was thinking about doing that one time based on a movie," or "I was super drunk, so I decided it'd be a good idea."
The day Josh runs out of stories is a sad day. 'Cause it's not gonna happen. Keep tuning.
Yeah.
They only
Stay
get
tuned
better.
for more
I thought
stories
that was
from
only
Josh.
one trip to Walmart.
The big red one probably be the next one.
Gotta save that for next week.
Yeah, save it for
And
next week.
super bus. I'm sorry, you were saying something.
Super bus.
Well, just on
Oh
the
no,
level of
derailing that train right now.
Probably a good idea.
on the level of format. So, like we already talked, as far as you gals as casual, like, would you consider yourself like casual comic enthusiasts, or at this point would you say like straight up, like you had said, you know, you haven't read them in years, like neither of you have bought a book in years,
Right.
and I guess from like a marketing standpoint and from a product standpoint, you as consumers, like, what do you feel is the best way to reach women as an audience and as a, you know, it's like commercials these days. There are no commercials for comic books. There are no, you know, you're not going to hear about a new title from the on the radio or during, you know, a television show, or, you know, even print ads outside of comic books these days. Like, you're never going to pick up, at least as of now, and Marvel, DC, if you guys are listening, take out, you know, and just to throw a generic like Cosmo. Like, if Cosmo had an advertisement for, let's say,
Well,
Spider
can you
Woman,
imagine
or,
like Batman talking about like the top 10 like best like sex positions or something?
I can absolutely imagine that.
that'd be their best
mean-
selling issue yet.
Do you see the women he hangs out with?
Yes.
Like,
He's got Selena Kyle.
He's a
got,
player.
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, going back to because like sex sells, but I mean,
Yeah.
Cosmo, they're always talking about like relationships or, you know, the best orgasm or how to achieve it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they talk about.
And
So
I've
women
noticed,
are kinda
and
catchy.
not to derail
Do
the derailment, but this
Not to
last
derail
one,
derailment.
what is it with Cosmo? And like everything requires like two hands and at least some presence of gymnastic ability. And I'm like,
I haven't seen the latest Cosmo, but I did hear about a Cosmo story when girls like colored their armpit hairs. Like some girls like literally dyed their armpit hairs like purple or green or pink or.
Okay.
Why?
And you all were laughing at me when I wanted a black mustache.
yeah.
I totally was going to do it, but then I felt like a troll.
Yeah.
So I did
Troll color.
For those of
From
you newer
L'Oreal.
audience, there was trolls with like colored hair back in the 90s. I believe that's what you were referencing.
Yes.
So
And I do believe that armpit hair on women is the worst hair. I can deal with arm hair,
leg hair.
mild stomach hair.
But no, armpit
The
hair.
ring around the belly.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Yeah.
Is there a story to
nipple hairs
that? To
There's no
that?
story to
the,
that.
the nip stash.
That's all you need to know.
But
Weird over there.
if that's, I don't know, I think that reaches a different audience. I can't, like, if they were to have a superhero column, and honestly, like, I think it would work. You know, if they had Chris Hemsworth is that his?
Yeah.
I'm watching Parks and Rec, so I don't know whether they call him Chris or
Chris
Andy.
Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Or well,
That's
Chris
Star-Lord.
Hemsworth is
Yeah,
Thor
Hemsworth is
anyway.
Thor.
But in any case, if they had like a Q&A session, it would work.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I think that if there was just some sort of awareness more, I mean, about comic books and maybe just a little bit of the history of it and like, you know, how it's evolving and what we can do to make it more appealing to women, I think that people might catch on to that.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Definitely.
Talk about, you know, Gail Simone and Batwoman, and talk about
Yeah,
sex
talk about more of
crimes,
like
and
the women
talk
characters
about
in
Bitch
comic
Planet
books.
and all those.
Yeah.
So you know, both of you.
Because
will
once you get a woman fired up and passionate and empowered, like, you're not going to freaking stop her. She's going to be like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, you sons of bitches.
Yeah.
I'm going to be reading these.
Unless you're like, no, you won't let her marry her partner. So I guess corporations can stop women fire, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. That being said, I think you'll both win a. You'll both leave here tonight with complimentary copies of Bitch Planet from Image Comics.
It's an amazing book so far.
And with that, I think I have a
What does
couple
that
copies.
mean?
Well, I have a couple copies left. I'll send it home, and then if you'd like to give us your feedback on it in a week,
That'd be
And
awesome.
maybe that's what we can do tonight. We can
Yeah.
see if we can find a few on the rack, and then maybe have you back on in a few
Yeah,
weeks. And
I'll read
That'd be
some
fun.
and
Just
then
a-
come back and do like a little review or something.
Yeah, and
That'd be
see,
cool.
That's
to
literally
get
our
the-
show.
Yeah.
It's paying bills.
This reminds me of 30 Rock. Will Ferrell, bitch hunter.
Yes.
NBC had to apologize after an ill-fated airing of Bitch Hunter on Mother's Day.
Oh my God.
And the whole of the show is him like kicking in a door, like it says women. He kicks in the store and he says, "Merry Christmas, bitches."
Mmm, tasty.